is what we call
Hater shit.
There is no better term.
They said if you don't go live on TikTok or YouTube today, that you're going to smell like a dead fish for 12 days. I give this battle to God. There is nothing I've not tried in an effort for justice, peace, and restoration. I have been in the gym since 2013 after giving birth to my youngest child. 2023 is the first year my membership was not honored, and Planet Fitness and Export South Loop denied me access after making payments. Still no explanation or help with this from Ellie. Learn to Oh my gosh, y'all remember Never Susan's studio? How many times she would lift up her freaking shirt? She could not help herself. She would be in the middle of Target lifting up her shirt, like looking at her stomach.
Saw that last.
Kindness doesn't work with all people, and I have been very kind. I don't know when she's been kind, but...
Last one. I'm 26 weeks pregnant. I'm very uncomfortable. It's snowing now. It's Halloween day. I don't feel well. I've called 311 hundreds of times. I really have no idea what's going on. I just miss my kids, and I'm hungry and I don't feel well. I'm tired of being harassed. There's a new, different personality that I'm dealing with through the phone. Sometimes it's like saying little trivial like insults, and sometimes it's telling me to kill myself and playing off my trauma with being raped and sexually harassed and sexually trafficked. I'm not a cop. I'm a woman, civilian, trying to be home with her children, being held outside for going on 4 years. I'm going to the bank now so that I could get my bank statement so that I can continue proving all you motherfuckers are losers and stalkers as I've been this entire time, because kindness doesn't work with all people. So you all know that my life is falling apart, but of course...
Okay, in my defense, I also replaced my debit card and got some exercise in the cold because it's snowing in Chai.
I had to make time for the Halloween store.
Oh. In Chai. And I guess Chicago. Just fucking put Chicago, please.
Because how could you not? That is not Harley Quinn. Is it? I thought...
Oh my gosh, it kind of looked like Heather, that girl in the costume.
That was Harley Quinn.
Go back.
But that is not Poison Ivy. I think my rendition is better. The Joker's pretty good. Weird Barbie. What the hell? Oh my God, Elle Woods. That should be me.
That should be me. See, I told y'all. I swear, she always thought she was so smart. But she just, like, wants to teach. She wants to talk.
Totally me.
Well, these poor employees.
Approved for up to $75,000. Step one, go to KeyBank, get their $50,000 credit card. They do a soft pull on Equifax and no docs. Step two, go to Truist Bank. They do a hard inquiry on Equifax, but you can get multiple credit cards with that one inquiry.
What's going on?
Anyways, hashtag free game, GoPro Solo, CCYSL, what? 6:32 p.m. Understanding the difference between and hard pull and soft pull is not something we all understand or even know how to apply or why it matters. If you're a growing business or personal credit, download at Self Lender. Oh my gosh. Heather, you're not getting paid for this stuff. You don't even know what you're talking about.
On you guys. So the previous post, I put hashtag free game. I also have a highlight down below after you get out of this, the highlight that says free game. A lot of what's being posted there is stuff on young entrepreneur lessons, raising credit so that you can get loans or business funding. You have to know the difference between a hard pull and a soft pull on your credit. So that's what's significant about what he's talking about in the previous post, is that if you're building business credit, you want to know that when they do a hard pull, it affects your credit score. When they do a soft pull, it does not. So that's pertinent to know, especially because a lot of these young businesses spend a lot of time growing, and people spend a lot of time growing their personal as well as business credit. Self Lender is another fabulous program, and they will also report your rent if your landlord does not.
DM for pricing and sizing. So they're saying that this is Xavier's grandfather, Jose Montoya. Meet the artist bio. Xavier Montoya, fine art, double exposures, large spaces, black and whites. Grandson of Jose Montoya. Oh, wow. Okay. He passed away in 2013. He was a poet and artist from Sacramento, California. He was one of the most influential Chicano bilingual poets. He has published many well-known poems in anthologies and magazines and served as Sacramento's poet laureate. I don't know what that word is. Wow. Oh my gosh. Your application was sent to the solar team. Oh. Your application was sent to OrthoFi. Your application was sent to Stand Above Media. Why are you telling people? Stop telling people where you're playing. Travel Girl Adventures. Oh no, why did I say that out loud? Fleet Core. That sounds like Soma Breath. Stop. Pierre Strand. 11 Digital Company. Why is she telling people wherever she applied to? If she got a call back, Live Buzz Studio. Oh my gosh, could y'all imagine if Heather was on Live Buzz Studio? Oh my gosh. I bet you if any of these people even called her, like, she wouldn't even go.
T-shirt and inspired makeup look. We are still outside.
Oh my gosh, that freaking hairdryer is so loud and pitchy.
In the tent, Xavier just got back from getting us some food, and then we watched The Secret. Whether you believe in that or not, if you're following along with my personal blog, we're 26 weeks pregnant. Things have been very difficult for both Xavier and I in separate lives. We just met 18 months ago, and since meeting each other, things have been easier emotionally because going through struggle is always easier when you have support. I don't care what anyone says. Tactically, it's more difficult. But at the end of the day, especially for extended periods of time, it 100% causes mental issues if you're by yourself all the time and dealing with and shouldering responsibility by yourself all the time. This doesn't mean that...
Yeah, thank you. Anyways, next. That's what Instagram said. Next. Okay, if you are interested in becoming a sponsor, confidential or otherwise, oh wow, please send donations via Cash App. It's cold. We are still being oppressed out of home and held apart from our families. Virtual gift cards, cash donations, shelter, hotel vouchers, or rooms for rent, employment opportunities are all welcome. DM is open if you have any questions. Thank you for your support. Oh, goodness. Response. Your Civil Rights Division report from the administrative section. Dear Heather Gillespie, you contacted the Department of Justice on March 10th, 2022. After careful review of what you submitted, we have decided not to take any further action on your complaint. What we did, team members from the Civil Rights Division reviewed the information you submitted. Based on our review, we have decided not to take any further action on your complaint. We received several thousand reports of civil rights. Okay, I remember she showed this a long time ago, so I don't know why she's bringing it back up. She said, FTR, I received this message less than 6 hours after submitting the request. They must have done a real thorough investigation.
So another example of how important visualization and effective visualization is, when I was a little girl, I used to get bad migraines, really bad. And they prescribed me to some medication that was like, I couldn't swallow pills. I was a little girl, I was 12 years old, I had never swallowed a pill in my life, I had only taken chewables. And it was like bad headaches, like debilitating. Like I'd be in bed for a day or two at 12, 11 years old. And so I started, to get me to be able to swallow the pills, I started visualizing. I would drink a carbonated beverage and I would visualize the...
Carbonated? I feel like that would be the worst drink. I suck at taking pills. Baby, you gotta give me some like milk, chocolate milk, or lukewarm water. If that I can't even do cold water. My wimpy ass. I can't swallow pills no more like that. That shit hurts. And then having anxiety on top of that, you think you're about to choke and die on a damn pill.
The bubbles would literally pick the pill up and carry it down my throat into the rest of my body. And it was then that I made this mind-body connection that I stopped gagging on pills when I would have to swallow a pill.
Ooh.
So I told Xavier last night, we have to go make our monthly run. We go at least once a month.
I'm not even gonna read that text message. Like, I can't.
Sometimes more than once a month to check on my children. I have no assurance, even after seeing them for 5 or 10 minutes, that everything's okay. It's not normal. I'm used to being with my kids full time, so it still feels very weird, but I drop them off whatever supplies I can, hygiene products, food, snacks, whatever I can. This is every single month, even before I knew Xavier. When they first threw me out of my house, I would go there and pick up my kids and just sit in my car for hours and watch movies with them. We're leaving the space we've been at for now 4 days at Belmont Harbor Beach. It's 38 degrees. We're in a tent still, and I'm 26 weeks pregnant. Still receiving, very threatening text messages. 4 years later, hundreds of police reports, still no answers.
Only God can provide the renewed faith to get me up at 4:30 a.m. to take this walk after 4 years of hope, traps, and tricks from the enemy. Thank you, God. Please continue to light my way.
So because of this inhumane situation, my natural cycle has been panic once we get to like the 3-month period where contact is limited with my children. I've never stopped walking the 15 hours every single month, at least once a month, to try to see them. Even if it's just for 5 minutes, even if they don't let me see them, but they accept bags of groceries on their behalf, I still do it, and I'm never gonna stop. I'm grateful for renewed hope and faith, because for 4 days I laid here thinking that it was just over, that I couldn't keep going. Even though I was still working on my novel, even though I was still working on my resume and applying to jobs, that's only God. There is no other explanation for that, because the sponsors, I need to go check on my children. I know that there have been people following us who don't wish us harm. I call them the sponsors. We are heading out there.
I call them the sponsors.
And I really we've been here for 4 days. I updated my resume, applied to another 40 jobs. Nothing new there. Xavier's funding for our groceries this month comes usually the 2nd. It is not going to come until...
What do you mean Xavier's? You have yours too. Did you already use all of yours? Y'all both have food stamps. I'm so confused.
Till Saturday. So if you guys can donate, now would be the time. I have a Cash App, $Heather GoPro Solo, and that would be great. I promised my children that I'd be there tomorrow to drop off baskets of fall stuff and Halloween snacks. But again, nefarious, malicious assholes had agendas of their own. What else is new? So again, sponsors, if you are looking for a time to line up food, now is the time. Thank you so much. We could do the Milwaukee.
What the fuck? Did she just say we could do the Milwaukee what? I know you ain't about to say you could do the Milwaukee Steaks. I know you ain't. Who to call when civil rights? Have you seen the numerous live videos of me calling the FBI for assistance and being made fun of and hung up on? I've been calling them since 2019 and local authorities since 2015. I've never heard, and no, I've not. I have not seen numerous live videos of you calling them and then making fun of you. I have seen you being so rude and disgusting and disrespectful to them to the point where they have to hang up because you won't even answer the questions. You're so dang rude. Like, I hate listening to her talk to people. It's so degrading. Like, I don't know how people even, like, stay on the phone with her. I guess because they really want their job. Sad but hopeful. Trying so hard to understand or make sense. Can't take it anymore. Indifference, numbness, confusion. What was this? April 3rd, 2023? I hate reading, Heather. I'm going to try. Okay. This was April 3rd, 2023, 2:36 p.m. As time continues to pass and nothing is done, no action is taken, or my case is ignored, I ride a coaster of emotions that looks something like this. Okay, that's not funny. Okay, so she did a little roller coaster, wee. Sad but hopeful, trying, can't take it anymore, numb, indifference, anger, confusion. If this is the wave, where is the place for contentment? Peace, happiness, etc. There's no lesson, no justification, no sense being made. I have 3 children. I have a passion for creating fitness, fashion, and family. I own or create my own label for clothing. And I think that says home goods called Merciful Storm, and my own production company. Self-start label, GoPro Solo Entertainment. I can't read the rest. Okay. I put a crink in my neck. Literally. Did I say crink? Put a kink in my neck.
So just in case.
Okay, just in case. Look at her eyes. Look at her eyes. She's on something. She's on something. Her eyes, you could always tell. All I have asked for of these people, this government, this law enforcement, is what is ethically, morally, and legally mine to begin with. Having faith is all I have. They have robbed and abused me to a point I never knew existed, and I would love to continue sharing my journey with you all. Unfortunately, my podcast was removed and access to my account revoked. I haven't given up and plan to start a new podcast this week.
Anyone's wondering, it looks like we are not going to make it today. We are probably going to leave tonight or tomorrow night. I need to get a couple of hygiene items and food items for my children, as I do every month. And we always go on the 1st or 2nd because that's when we get funding from the government for food. And I spend $50 on each child, whatever I can get, and I make them a cute little basket.
She just said that they didn't have any money, so she needed the sponsors to send them money for food for themselves. Or I guess not. This is just so weird to me. Like, I don't know if she does this stuff to, like, make her feel better. Like, does that make her feel better, feeling like I got groceries for my kids? Like, some groceries for my kids? Because they're not, I guarantee you, they're probably not going to use it. Especially not no yogurt. You travel that far and you bring my kid yogurt, I'm straight in the trash. Sorry, not worth it.
That's my way of letting them know I love them. I'm doing everything I can. I'm trying to figure out the situation. Someone nefariously stopped funding on Xavier's card. We called, resolved the matter, and it's not going to be there till Saturday. So it doesn't make sense for us to walk out there today. So we're probably going to go tomorrow morning. And I've been up since 3:30 in the morning just trying to get this shit together. It's been a catastrophe.
A catastrophe. Oh, look at you hiding stuff. Good job. According to the state of Illinois, Maybrook Juan Madero was charged with aggravated battery and assault with a deadly weapon for the tire iron attack, but they never told me about the court date or provided any of the victim's rights. I am entitled under emergency law. Can I get a lawyer yet? What? So is she saying this is I hope this is not bad of me. Okay, so is she saying that Juan Madero was the one who hit her with her tire iron and was charged and arrested, right? Or does she just find somebody who was arrested around that time, that day?
So I haven't even been on Instagram really, other than to document all of the unlawful oppression. But now I'm attempting to go live with a packet of documentation that was provided from Northwestern Hospital. And again, this is nothing new, but just so that I can prove that I've done this not once or twice or 3 times or 4 times. We've been through this now a number of times. I'm talking into the 20s or 30s over the past 4 years, where I've walked into places, fire departments, hospitals, been seen for various reasons, been given a list of supposed resources, and they don't work. And I'm going to turn the light on and go live and show all of this in just a minute. But as soon as I decided to do so, look. So I haven't done anything to violate my account standard or setting. The only thing I've ever done on this Instagram is document the real, true story of the oppression and abuse that I have faced. And if documenting when someone does illegal things to you is illegal, then I don't know where. We must be in China. So, or not China. Where's that place where they're oppressive? Kong Jong Long lives there. He never poops. North Korea or something. And I don't think I am in North Korea. I think I'm in the United States, the last time I checked. Chicago, Lincoln Park, right? So this is censorship. This is oppression. I'm literally here just trying to show the list of resources that do not work, that has been provided to us, to me, because I've been going through this before I met Xavier for now 4 years, against my will. I have 3 children, and that's the only responsibility I have in this entire fucking world, is to raise my children. And these people are preventing me from doing.
And yet you can't even do that. That's harsh reality. It's not even being mean or to make fun of you, but that you're not even doing that. And it's nobody's fault but yours.
So I'd like to know who they are, what they want, and why I'm not being permitted to go home. Why I'm not receiving the restitution that I deserve, why I have been the victim of so many violent crimes that have not been picked up or charged by the state of Illinois, and what I need to do for resolution. I've gone live and called the state's attorney's department on this no less than 100 times between all of my Instagram accounts and social media accounts. I've done it across numerous different social media platforms with numerous different witnesses. I still to this day have not been provided a court date or any understanding of what is going on. I am being held against my will, metaphorically, physically, you name it. If I was not being held against my will, my vehicle would have never been destroyed.
Oh my
bank account would have never been closed.
Wow.
My money would have never been taken from me.
Every penny that I've acquired, I have acquired by earning it through legal resources, either unsanctioned donations,
What?
people randomly helping me, personal training money, consultation on small business, taking paid dates, exchanging time for money,
Ew.
or selling content online. All of my W-2 jobs, working in hospitals, restaurants, etc., and so forth have all been legal. And all of my self-employment endeavors have also all been legal. Staffing trade shows at McCormick Place, hiring people for that, offering them opportunity, managing events, promoting events, all legal, and they are all taxed. I've paid my taxes every single year prior to being unlawfully thrown out of my home. And even after that, Ed Palmer filed taxes on my behalf and kept my COVID stimulus to repay him for the first month of Airbnb that he covered because I was, again, unlawfully thrown out of my home after waiting nearly 5 years for Dylan Smith to be released from the IDOC. 6 episodes of the show Love After Lockup completely slandered my entire name, personality, reputation, and business. Everything that they aired was a lie. Them saying that I was the reason he was going to be late. I was the only person driving and telling him, fuck this reality show. You need to get to the house. He knew from the beginning that the reality show was nefarious. They said that he said to me, do not let them separate us and corner us and communicate with us individually. Any communications that you have with them need to be done with me. And that's not what happened. From the very first day, they were taking him across to the side, making nefarious storylines and plots that have to this day affected my ability to do business and my reputation. After that, I began being put under tremendous pressure, being accused of things, being followed and stalked by strangers, physically assaulted randomly, was bludgeoned, was beaten, was stabbed, and was separated from my 3 children for the first time in their entire lives. Other than that, they lived with me at least 5 days, if not 7 days, from the moments of their birth. And this is Heather Gillespie, and I have given you all of the information that I'm comfortable giving from the side of the fucking road. I need an understanding of what is going on here because I've neither given my permission to be involved in any sort of weird studies, nor do I have any desire to do so.
Oh my gosh.
As I've said hundreds of times, my one and only response.
I was about to say, she literally remembers these, like, sightings, and she just starts citing it. Like, she just starts going off. Like, she's in front of a whole ass classroom, reading from her postcards and barely looking down. She memorized it all.
Responsibility in this life is to raising my children, who I have 3 of, who have been displaced from my care for the past 3.5 years, staying with friends and family members because we have nowhere else, with my mother, with my sister, mostly with their father and their father's families, while I do the same redundant things that are incredibly abusive. Number 1, holding someone on the side of the road or in a tent anywhere is incredibly abusive. You take away.
Okay, so stop right there. Who's doing that to you, Heather? Who's holding you out onto the tent? Who is doing that?
Away all of their privilege to privacy, and privacy is not a privilege. It is a right. It is a right. We all have a right to use the restroom and have bowel movements without an audience. We all have a right to go potty and eat food and sleep without an audience. We all have a right to sleep indoors, where we are safe from any sort of attack, physical or otherwise. My rights have been denied numerous times. This is what they gave us 2 days ago, October 20. Hold on, the discharge paperwork is right here. October 23rd, 2023. Okay, Heather Gillespie was seen for vomiting, abdominal pain complicating pregnancy, and vomiting blood. I was discharged. They have my primary care physician on file. They are all on board. They know who my OB-GYN is that I've been seeing, Natasha Jensen, who I'm not really sure if I'll be going back to. It's very, very much out of my way. We don't live in the area where she practices, but you could see my vital signs were fine, and I was discharged. Okay, so these are discharge instructions indicating the only medication I take are prenatal vitamins. My baby is healthy. And there was no other, treatment that was needed. I was discharged around 5 p.m. Now you go here. I specifically requested social work because, again, I have 3 independent psychiatric evaluations on file since all of this drama took place.
I want to see
as
that.
well as my primary care physician, who prior to the pregnancy I have seen every single month. I even saw the first month of the pregnancy. So 4 months it's been since I've seen Dr. Haresh. And prior to that, I saw him every single month and have detailed summaries of every single visit and also the abuses that I've endured during that time. So I'm completely covered. Now let's go here. Resources for people without shelter, right? I called every single one of these places the very first day they gave us this. So they discharged us around 4 or 5 p.m. I went upstairs, took a seat right across from the Panera Bread, and began making these calls. What did they say? Per Inglewood Center, none of the 6 locations offer shelter or housing, which is all that I need, right? Mm-hmm. So this is a dead end. Let's go to here. Catholic Charities. I have telephone records, forensic, accounting of my telephone records, whereabouts, and debit cards will prove to you that I have not only called these places once, I have been consistently calling them for a period of years at this point, at the very least 18 months with witness of Xavier. Before I met Xavier, I also spent hours on camera. If you go to the One Heather GEE account, you can see me calling the FBI. You can see me with these resources, the same list I was given today. This is the same thing they've been passing out since 2020. And I would sit in the forest preserve out in the open of my car and literally at a picnic bench on a live camera, calling every single one of these resources on a live camera, calling the state's attorney's office, reporting everything that had taken place, asking them for assistance. We are 4 years in, and I have still not received the assistance that I deserve. Yet halfway through this, I was rescued by someone who was using military language, representing themselves as someone from some member of law enforcement or the military who was there to assist me. Multiple people, removed from the side of the street where I was being kept, or the Airbnb where I was being kept. I was given a Honda Civic to replace my Cadillac CTS that was intentionally destroyed while I was parked in a gated community in Barrington. Okay. And 3 months after receiving the apartment and the car, I was told that I needed to, quote, suck dick for a Cadillac or settle for the Honda. I made sure that I communicated to Eric Scholl that I would most certainly not be sucking dick, that I thought he was a disgusting individual, that after a woman who he knew, myself, had been human sex trafficked and had escaped being human sex trafficked, how dare you ask me to give oral sex for a Cadillac? You should lose your job if you have one.
She probably would have. I'm sorry, that's not funny, because I'd slap the shit out of somebody if they said some shit like that to me, but she'd probably be like, okay.
You should be arrested for sexual coercion and extortion and exploitation.
How'd you get that apartment?
But instead, I kept the Honda, and he got me a studio apartment.
Yeah, how'd you get that,
3 months
bitch?
I was in that apartment with a lease in my name and my name alone.
No, that's not true. That's not true. The lease was in both of y'all's name. You were the only one residing there until the kids came. That's what you said on your application. But his name was on that application as well. Who do you think fucking... I don't know why I just called her that. Who do you think paid for it?
Broken into, robbed on a regular basis, robbed for money, robbed for food, robbed for clothing. I never gave verbal permission or written permission for a single person to be in my apartment space. The only people I gave permission to be in my apartment space ever are my 3 biological children, Viviana, Lewis, and Alexis. And none of them were allowed over even once. Why? I don't know.
Why?
I could not tell you. I have legal primary joint custody, as I have since the day they were born. Their fathers have been weekend fathers at best. They've given me whatever little, money assistance they could, and their parents, so their fathers' families, have stepped up when it comes to babysitting so I could go to work. Both of their mothers have almost never said no, that they would not take the kids. His father, Lewis's father, did all of the driving back and forth, and I would have been lost without him because I didn't have a car that entire time. And for that, I am very grateful. But primary custody has always been with me, and that is where it needs to be. I am the children's mother. I am of sound mind.
Okay, first of all, you are not of sound mind. And second of all, it sounds like they did, or their parents did most of the work anyways. Like, you didn't do much. I agree, a mom is very important, but you have to actually be a parent, you know. Parent, raise your children. If you can't do that. That is so nice. That is so nice of that man to pick up those kids, or a kid, and bring them to school every freaking day.
So now you go to the fact that I had an apartment that was batter-rammed by 4 fake police officers only 3 months after moving in, and that the Honda Civic that I was driving and given to replace an apartment that was batter-rammed by 4 fake police officers only 3 months after moving in, and that the Honda Civic that I was driving and given to replace my Cadillac that was stolen from me and destroyed, that was also stolen out of the parking lot of the Montclair where I was living. Eric, or someone pretending to be Eric, sent me a text message saying that he had taken the car to get the tires replaced and that he'd be returning it within a few hours. I never heard from Eric again, and I never received the car back. I tried to call him. There was no answer.
You know what happened.
Now, fast forward to where we are today with Xavier as a witness. I've been calling on the same resources that I began calling on in 2020, and they are all dead ends. So all of these community shelters are dead ends. There are no heating centers. The only heating center left in the city is at Northwestern Hospital. They allow 30 people at a time. They do not allow you to sleep. They allow you to sleep, if you can do so sitting up in a chair. I am nearing my 25th week of pregnancy. That's 6 months plus pregnant. I am uncomfortable. I will not be sitting up sleeping in a chair. Okay. Now you look at these shelter Catholic charities. You can go in my phone record or on any of my lives. I've called all of these. They have no resources available. Call them right now and listen to their voicemail box. They are not even accepting applications for assistance through Catholic charities. 311. I have been on a waiting list through 311. And again, this is Heather Gillespie.
Oh, that's who it is.
Here's where I checked in to prove that I was there on all the times I was there. Look at 2021.
We can't see the dates.
August 25th, September 16th.
We literally can't see nothing.
Just this Tuesday. Here we go to 311. All the jobs I've applied to, all the resumes I've sent out.
Girl.
All of the documenting I've done. Now you have 311. All the jobs I've applied to, all the resumes I've sent out. All of the documenting I've done. Now you have 311 here, responding back stating that on September 2nd, 2021, I called for assistance. And the same thing on September 3rd. And the same thing on October 2nd. And this is 2021. And I had 2 or 3 other phone numbers during this time that were disconnected without my choice. Ed Palmer was the account holder on those accounts. And he was, extorted, strong-armed. He went through whatever he went through while I was being physically attacked, bludgeoned, and raped and stabbed. I'm sure he had pressure to disconnect the phone because abruptly, when I was in my apartment at Montclair with no warning, without having had an argument or anything, he disconnected my phone and took his credit card off of my blog, mercifulstorm.com. I had the blog specifically written because I was documenting everything, all of the abuse that had taken place, because I was exhausted of being forced back into the trauma of talking about it all over and over. If you've ever been raped or beaten or bludgeoned or stabbed, it is incredibly traumatic. You do not want to discuss it one time, let alone thousands of times.
Exactly. So why do you talk about it all the time and so much in depth and in detail? All the time. Way too many times.
And that's where I'm at. I'm into the thousands at this point. So he disconnected my phone. Please feel free to take out a warrant on that phone line, because you'll see I've done nothing wrong. You'll also see that I've been calling all of these resources since 2020. Okay? And getting nowhere. So he disconnects my phone, leaves me no phone or communication other than the Google Voice number that I've been using.
Look, this is the great thing about being independent. You know what I'm saying? Like, knowing that, for example, like if you had your own vehicle, or if you actually was the only one on that apartment lease, or even if you just paid the damn thing. I think it's just so weird. I guess there's just different types of people out there, because if you are able to be independent and you're like, no, this is my apartment, like I got this apartment, nobody else got this apartment for me, I got this apartment, I paid for this apartment, like nobody can really tell you nothing, you know what I'm saying? Like nobody can do anything. What else? The phones. I remember around that time too, where she was needing a phone, needing someone, because she got on, another dude got her up on a phone plan, and I'm sure it was the same thing. She wasn't paying it, so he took it off.
Me no phone or communication other than the Google Voice number that I've been using. But ironically, the only calls that Google Voice is permitting to come through are these unknown numbers. So I block unknown calls, turn off notifications for Google Voice, and this is all that Google Voice allows to come through. Yet I'm the one receiving account warnings threatening to suspend my account on socials for going live and exposing this, and on Google Voice for exposing this. And no one is offering me any sort of vindication, justice, any of my human rights, or any of my legal rights. They're looking at all of the proof I have. They're looking at the fact that people were arrested when I was bludgeoned. Someone was arrested for that on the scene. There were several witnesses, but they're denying me victim services, stating that no arrests have been made. That is a lie. That is a blatant lie. I am owed a major amount of money. Me, Heather Gillespie.
Me.
Not me and whoever the fuck else strangers are claiming that they helped me. Just me. No one was there with me while I was getting stabbed.
Wow.
No one was there with me while I was getting bludgeoned. No one has been there with me on the side of the fucking road. And with the exception of Xavier over the last 18 months, I've been alone. Do you not get that? I have been alone. Outside by myself. Recording and documenting alone. No camera crew, no support, no funding.
No camera
I
crew.
starved for nearly 4 days before I brought myself to steal a protein bar. And I didn't hide it. I showed it to the security camera in hopes that some sort of federal organization would come here and realize that I am being oppressed out of earning my own money and starved and exhausted in the street. And no one has showed up to this day. So I'm not afraid of any of you, because I know the truth. Now, the only drug that I've ever engaged in this entire period is pot for my anxiety or my pain.
Liar.
I don't even use recreational drugs or alcohol.
Liar. Oh my gosh, you're such a liar.
I only allow for green marijuana to be smoked.
That's why she fucking paused, because she knew she fucked up. She already told us. Green marijuana. Yeah, because, you know, Xavier probably has that white crack shit, or clear, whatever the color crack is.
Because I don't trust these fucking creeps, not even Xavier, to give me something that isn't green and say that it is marijuana. I don't do any other drugs and have never voluntarily done any hard drug in my entire life.
Lies.
Never. Not one time ever in my life. Ever.
Such a fucking lie.
Never.
How?
Recreationally, I've tried an ecstasy or a mushroom. I have never done crack. I have never done heroin. I have never...
See? Thank you. The very first thing she goes to is crack, and the second one is heroin. That is why I think the hard drugs they do is crack or heroin. Because she will always randomly bring up crack.
Never done methamphetamine, none of that. Never has it been my jam. Never have I wanted it. Never have I had desire to have it. I do not like people who do it around me. I do judge them. I don't like it. Rationally, I can understand why these people would have the need for medications like this or to self-medicate. I can see just from the perspective of homelessness how that would affect your mind being degraded and, dehumanized in this way for extended periods of time, and how that would push people into drug abuse. I don't need to be forced into drug abuse to understand that. I can deploy compassion for that situation and understanding without having to go through it.
Oh, girl, you went through it.
There is no part of that that I want to be around. I have lived with addicts. I have had cousins who are addicts. I have watched them rob my aunts blind for anything in their purse. I don't want it around me. Do not want it. There has never been a point in my life where anyone in my family has had to feel afraid to leave their purse by me or loose money around me. I don't steal from people. As I said, my theft career began when you motherfuckers began oppressing me out of employment, locking me outdoors, forcing me into physical situations of sleep deprivation combined with intense exercise and no food or calories. That is when I first stole any fucking thing to eat. And that was in 2022, because I was still receiving checks from Love After Lockup, as well as driving DoorDash prior to 2022. We're just in 2023 now, okay? So what's really my history? If someone gets a job and they're chased out of that, never, ever have I been a cocaine addict. Or user.
What?
Ever.
What?
The only time you would ever even see me pretending to use cocaine is if a client or a service was dependent on my using it. And believe it or not, there are a lot of people who will not hire you, especially when they are paranoid drug users, unless you at the very least pretend to be one. Because if they're using, then they're the bad guy, unless you're using too. And I've never been a drug user. So I don't even use cocaine. So all of you who are walking around here working for the state of Illinois, who are partying every week.
No, you just pretty much told us that you had to do cocaine to hang out with the guy. Or you just did cocaine to hang out with the guy. I swear, your stories, Heather.
And I don't do it. So yes, I'm even better than you in that sense. And that's not ego.
Wow.
That's you walking around with your expensive education, thinking that you're better than me, or saying that you're better than me, or saying that you don't deserve to be outside in a tent, but I do for some reason. No, I don't.
Oh my gosh.
And if you really want to gauge by morality, you people are aware of what's going on and don't do anything to help. You sit in your high rises, snorking up.
She just really is getting into an altercation, like starting an argument. She's starting an argument with herself as if she's talking to us. Ain't nobody's there. And she doesn't even look at the comments. Like, she's looking at herself. And she's just started an argument by herself, with herself, to herself.
Your fucking lines of drugs day after day. And when I'm with you people, I know I'm with you because I stopped getting fed. I get fed usually 3 times a day when I'm being held out here.
You know.
But when I start getting transferred over to the drug addicts group, I only get fed 1 time or a half a time. You know why? Because all of you drug addicts who take over control, you don't have an appetite because you're high. I'm not high and I'm pregnant and I'm a fucking athlete. So I get hungry. You see how that works? 3 to 5 times a day, I get hungry every day. Okay? So back to this list of bullshit. These are the same resources they've been handing me since 2021. I've gone down the list and called all of them. Catholic Charities is no longer an option. These overnight shelters, they allow you to bring 1 bag, a backpack. That is all you are allowed to bring. As you can see, I have clothing. I have production equipment. I have...
Girl, that production equipment, you better go bring that head to Xavier's daddy's house or have him drop it off. You don't need that. You're not even making any money from that. So why are you holding on to it? Let it go. There's no reason why you cannot go to that shelter just because you want to try to blame it on you have too much stuff.
Makeup. I have a novel that I'm writing.
So like this is what I'm saying. So if somebody is like, okay, so is your novel more important than you like getting off the streets and getting help? It shouldn't be. that's what you're picking. Your makeup. Is your makeup more important than you getting, into a shelter and starting to get help?
Shelters, they allow you to bring one bag, a backpack. That is all you are allowed to bring. As you can see, I have clothing, I have production equipment, I have makeup, I have a novel that I'm writing, I have a stack this thick of police reports, and other legal proof and medical proof, the lease agreements from my apartments, all of the police reports that have been filed at Montclair with regards to the thefts and robberies, all of the requests I have to file civil suit against law enforcement officers who have been called and responded to the scene of the crime and asked me if I needed a doctor rather than offered me any legal assistance. My apartment was broken into and never, not one time, were fingerprints dusted for. Not one time. Law enforcement responded. I gave them a sheet, a bed sheet that was filled with bodily fluids.
That was so nasty.
I've not had voluntary sex with anyone. Every single person who has had sex with me after Dylan has either raped me or threatened to throw me outside in the street again if I didn't allow them to have sex with me. Xavier is the first person I had consensual sex with. You might include JR, but again, I was stranded in the middle of Valdosta, Georgia with no car and being offered the decision of being left abandoned on the side of the road or allowing him to have sex with me. What would you choose? So the feds or whatever authority's been monitoring this situation has been looking the other way and allowing me to literally be raped on a semi-regular basis since 2020. And I want to press charges. In addition to rape and sexual assault, I have been, as I said, stalked all over the country. My vehicle, a Cadillac CTS that I paid for alone, with the exception of my down payment given to me by Amy Bolin, who was working as my assistant at the time. I paid every payment on my own. Even when they closed my bank account because it was a smart access card and I was being skimmed, and you can only receive smart access cards through the mail, so I had to close my account temporarily. A few people paid my car note. I gave them cash. Charlie Keene, I worked for him cleaning his home and monitoring his diabetes for several weeks or months. He would pay me in cash. I would give him back what I needed to pay my bills, and he would, from the parking lot of Chase at the ATM, in his Jeep with me being the driver and having Capital One on speakerphone, he would make the payment and give authorization verbally. I have never stolen money from these people. I don't do fraud. What you are doing to me is oppressive and illegal.
So
after making the final payment on my vehicle and being told that the title was going to be mailed to my Mama Nellie's house, 5425 North Patterson, I believe is the address, where I lived for many years in the basement apartment. After Capital One said that they were releasing the title to that address to my name, someone called and said, pretended to be me, and asked to have it released to my primary loan signer, who is Amy Bolin. I had no credit, so Amy was my co-signer. That car was financed through M&L Imports. Amy was not supposed to be on the deed at all. Not at all. She did not make a single payment. She was simply my co-signer. And I do have recorded audio of Mike, the salesperson at M&L Imports, who sold me the car, not us the car, me the car, to prove that. Yet somehow they stole my title after I made my last payment to Capital One and destroyed my vehicle. Make any of this make sense, please? Please. Now, all of these resources that I've been calling on since 2021 are completely false. Catholic Charities is not open. We've gone in. Xavier, can you be respectful, please? I'd like to have one recorded document that's not you in the background smoking weed and fucking making noise out of plastic bags. Is that acceptable? I can't edit this shit on my own. They're clearly blocking me from going live. It's difficult for me to upload these things as it is. Can I have one video that you are not creating a disturbance in the background? Please.
Wow. Poor Xavier.
I have called all of these. These overnight shelters are incredibly predatory. They are rape havens. You get robbed, you get stabbed. If you Google these places, none of these are open other than Pacific Garden Mission. This is the only one open. This one is not open. This one is not open, and this one is not open. Even with these three, you cannot get into them unless you call 311. Okay, and I just called on recording yesterday from Northwestern Hospital where I was handed this information, and they said that on recording, okay, numerous open tickets per, to 311 per NMH. 311 has not picked up anyone since just after COVID. So that would be the 2021 time. Now we have all of these places: Sarah's Circle, Deborah's Place, Center and Halstead. I'm convinced these are fake, okay? I'm convinced that these don't even exist. But when I call, someone answers. They are 50 women capacity, women only, 50 women capacity programs that are all full with waiting lists you can only access through 311. So these people don't even have private waiting lists. You have to go through 311, which is not picking anyone up and hasn't since 2021. Hello?
Yeah, that's crazy.
So I've called all of these and none of them work. Now, I've already done all of this, yet for some reason, Chicago police continues to be deployed and dispatched to random locations where I find to set up my tent. So you're telling me I cannot have a tent set up, or you don't think I'm supposed to have a tent set up, but then once I go through this entire speech, which is exhausting and no one pays me for, they walk away with their tails between their legs, or they physically beat the fuck out of me. Those have been the two options. And yes, law enforcement has, while pregnant, physically thrown me onto the ground and beaten me up for no reason. Xavier, do you want to testify as to what happened when we were in Schiller Park?
Oh gosh.
You were brutalized.
No, what happened? Analytically, not emotionally. We were doing what in Schiller Park?
A photo shoot.
On our way to visit who?
The children.
Who you never see, I see alone, and you wait patiently and respectfully about a block away. Or in, the gazebo or whatever. If I'm hanging out with them in the park, he goes to another area, whatever. So we're on our way to visit the children, and Schiller Park police do what? While we're doing the photo shoot in a public gazebo at a park that I intentionally went to right across from the police station because I thought it would be safe.
He approached us.
Around what time would you say? Noon? 3 p.m.?
Earlier in the day.
Oh
I think
my
it was about
gosh.
3 p.m.
Heather, you're answering
Earlier in
for
the day,
him.
told us not to leave our stuff.
Not to leave our stuff,
Unattended.
or the trash man would throw it away. Did they ever at any time ask us to leave?
No.
Did they ever at any time say we were doing anything in violation of the law?
No.
No.
Okay, so we were approached by the same 3 officers who beat me later on that night. They said we were doing nothing wrong, gave us permission to be there in a public park doing a photo shoot. So I'm doing my makeup. We wrap the photo shoot, and Xavier says he's from a sponsor going to pick up a pizza.
Yeah.
What did I say to you when you told me that you were going to go?
You didn't want me to leave
And why didn't I want you to leave?
because I think we both knew, or either you or I said that they were gonna.
I told you that those police were on bullshit.
Yeah.
Right. And that I didn't want to be left alone without a witness. Xavier insisted that it would be fine and that he would be right back, got on his bicycle, and began to
It
leave.
was literally just around the corner.
Less than 30 seconds after he left. Now, what was I doing when you left? I was laying down on what? A yoga mat. With all of my belongings, were all of my belongings spread around, or had I cleanly and neatly packed them up and put them onto
Oh
the
my
cart and
gosh,
laid down
Heather.
peacefully on my yoga mat under the gazebo, waiting for you to return with the pizza?
They were not spread around.
They were not spread around. Could you imagine having to live with this? And oh my gosh.
They were neatly packed up. So my belongings are neatly packed up, and I'm laying down on a yoga mat, minding my own business, at which point in time, the 3 officers come back. Xavier was not there for this, okay? When they come back, they are wearing gloves. They park their car. All of them are wearing gloves, latex gloves, as if they have premeditated intent, as if they have been conspiring to put hands on me, because you don't wear latex gloves to approach someone unless you have a premeditation that you're going to put hands on them, correct? Okay, great. So at that point in time, Xavier comes back. He didn't have time to get the pizza. So you come back and you see me laying on the ground in a defenseless position, surrounded by 3 officers, pointing their flashlights in my face, wearing latex gloves, correct?
All I kept yelling was, all I kept screaming was that she's pregnant.
She's pregnant, she's pregnant, she's pregnant. So we're clearly terrified, both of us, surrounded by people with guns and weapons and latex gloves. And they say, you need to get out of here. And I say, okay, you need to learn how to treat people. And the whole time I'm talking to them, I'm getting up and rolling up my yoga mat. Everything else is already packed. I'm telling them, you need to back up, I'm pregnant. I have rights here too. And I am asserting myself in ways that are legal and ethical. Correct? Correct or...
Okay, I don't know what's going on, but you do be making things so much worse, Heather, and you, take forever to get your stuff out. Whether it's, the hotel room, the Airbnb, someone's house, and whenever it's time to go, it's time to go. Don't sit there, go live, and take forever to pack your stuff up, and quietly, or not even quietly, you just take forever, and you bitch while you pack, and it takes you forever to leave a place that you never were supposed to ever be.
Correct. Okay. So I'm not beating up the cops. I'm not a threat to the cops. I'm doing nothing wrong. I am grabbed from where I am putting my yoga mat away. Tackled. Dragged in about 5 to 10 feet on my back, on my stomach, 14 weeks pregnant with this pregnancy by 3 officers who premeditatively put their hands on me. And why is it that the police only attack me when I'm going out to visit my children?
Oh my gosh.
Every single time that we go out to visit my children, either the police are overly friendly and helpful or they are attacking us. Every single time. And the last time they tried to attack us in Schiller Park, or maybe it wasn't Schiller, right there by where the forest is, all the forest preserves are on Irving and Lawrence and that. We were approached by one lone lady cop who I think was going to attack me if I didn't have a witness. And there were literally hundreds of mopeds driving by, illegal, unregistered motorbikes. Am I lying about that, Xavier?
How did you even notice that?
Would you guess that there were hundreds?
Yes.
Less than 500?
Less than 500.
But about 100 or less than 100?
About 100.
Okay, so about 100 mopeds with no license plates are swarming around us, and law enforcement pulls over who? Us. So Xavier and I are walking down the street, not even in the forest preserve, pushing our carts on the side of the road with all of our luggage, and we are attacked again, verbally, harassed, lights shined in our face, while 100 unmarked, unregistered, non-licensed motorbikes, not designated for use on the street, swarm all around us. Xavier and I are attacked again by police, shining their light in our face, harassing us. And those are 2 of about, 40 or 50 incidences of being harassed or physically assaulted by people dressed in law enforcement offices with keys to the lockup. So I call them fake cops. They have keys to cars and keys to the actual lockup. And they took me there, held me against my will, broke my cart, threw our stuff all over the floor. And when I was released an hour later with no charges, go figure, and refused lawyer and refused medical. And when I was finally released, they had all of my luggages dumped out in a big pile in the corner of the parking lot with one of the wheels broken off of my luggage cart. Didn't offer to replace it, didn't say sorry, nothing. Did absolutely nothing. I immediately call my lawyer who says we have a case.
Oh my God.
As soon as he says we have a case, someone impersonating my lawyer calls right back and says, well, Heather, I don't think there's much we can do here. You literally just less than 5 minutes later said, we have another case. What do you mean you don't think there's much we can do here? So I've called all of these resources, none of them accept anyone that does not go through 311. They claim that it's the city's rule that any and all homeless people must be itemized or cataloged or intaked through 311's department, yet 311 has not picked up a person since 2021. And that came from Xavier. Do you recall when we were told that 2 days ago?
Yes.
And where did they tell us that 2 days ago? Northwestern Hospital. And what was the title of the person who told us that?
one of the lead
social worker. It wasn't the psychiatrist. It was a social worker.
social worker.
So
He's like, damn, I didn't know I was going to be freaking quizzed on all this.
the social worker at Northwestern comes out, hands us all of this paperwork, tells us that no one from 311, which I already knew, or no one has been able to utilize 311 since 2021. Okay, so we are now going on. I have covered every fucking base about 35,000 times. I have done everything in my power to document, to be accurate, and report on everything that has taken place. And I am still not in receipt of any victim services, being held from my 3 children, being prevented from earning my own income, and being faced on a daily basis with beg people for money, sleep on the side of the road, or abandon my physical, bodily health and mental health, which I will not do. Now, back to this.
But you'll go without your
We
kids.
have all of this bullshit that says Chicago cares. Go to the library. Xavier, the library. Do you want to tell them what happened the last several times we've attempted to go to the library? Besides the men who were forwardly consuming pornographic content at a public library, which is a place for children, let's just keep it real. It's not a place for you fucking criminals who have escaped your fucking sentencing. It's not a place for you people who have been oppressed and wrongfully accused, who are interested in jacking off in public. It's not a place for you people who feel misunderstood. And it is a place for children and members of the community who need
Xavier has like his back off face towards her and everything. He's like,
public. It's not a place for you fucking criminals who have escaped your fucking sentencing. It's not a place for you people who have been oppressed and wrongfully accused, who are interested in jacking off in public. It's not a place for you people who feel misunderstood. And it is a place for children and members of the community who need to use a computer to do work, to access resources paid for by the people who have paid taxes for the city of Chicago. If you are caught looking at porn, you should be removed. That's not the case. These people are permitted to watch porn. They sit there all fucking day long like it is a prison watching porn. It is disgusting. Incredibly difficult to get any work done. And that's one of the bare minimum, things that they do there. What has happened, even when we ignore the fact that there are people there watching porn and attempt to go there and utilize the 10 free prints, because Chicago has been offering 10 free prints every library card number or computer visit. And I have been typing up my narrative, which briefly, describes what I've been through and gives links to all of my social media where I have all of the live feeds, all of the pre-recorded feeds, etc. and so forth. Now, what happened the last time we went to the library, Xavier?
We took the card up at Harrison. No, not the Harrison. The Ida B. Wells location. We took our cart up to the 3rd floor.
What did they say? Were we allowed to stay?
They told me I couldn't go to the computers. I needed to stay with the carts.
They told us that we were not allowed to be in the library. First, they said that I could use a computer and he needed to stand with the cart. Then they said no, that the cart was too large and could not be in the library. Have you seen that library? That library is a massive fucking building. There are not a lot of people in it.
it doesn't matter. You cannot take a cart into a library. It doesn't matter how big it is. You don't need a cart inside of a library. I'm sorry. That is ridiculous. Hey, another reason why you should just do a book bag and then you could go to that shelter. Bada bing, bada boom. There you go. Problem solved.
A luggage cart with luggage. We're not toting guns. So they said we could not be in the library because we have a luggage cart. Where can you leave a luggage cart? A storage. Good example. What happened at our last storage, Xavier? What happened the day after I paid? We went to enter the code to access, and what did it say?
It was not in the system.
Denied. So after paying $74 for a storage locker, they stole the $74 and denied our access. I waited for 9 a.m. to come so that I could access through the front door, went to the office. They said the same thing, that there was no problem, that our code should not be denied. Someone called me again, posing as someone from this company safe store, calling me a crackhead and a bitch and saying that I could not go there anymore. I removed everything from the locker and walked out. I, in writing, requested a refund. We were 1 day into the month that I had already paid. To this day, they have still kept every penny and not refunded it. So they revoked my access to the storage for no reason, slandered my name, libeled me, harassed me, called my personal cell phone and called me a crackhead among other names. And even though the office was saying there was no problem with my access, entering my access code didn't work. And the person who sold me the access in the first place, Jermaine, who definitely is a crackhead, missing teeth and all, was on my cell phone calling me a crackhead. I don't know the man other than from the day I opened the account.
Wow.
The day I opened the safe store is the only time I've ever met him or seen him in my life. And I've never smoked crack. So they robbed us at our storage locker, stole the money, and I just emptied everything, and we've been literally pulling it around with us in a cart ever since. We then even attempted to get a new storage locker at the U-Haul down the street, and they did the same thing. I paid in full, and they revoked access the very first night. Did not offer a refund, and I had to get one of the neighboring, people to open up their door and let us use the elevator so that I could empty all of our belongings out and take them off of the premises. They both owe me a full refund. Neither of them have explained why they did that or what was their reasoning. I have not violated any of the terms of my lease agreements for any of the storage lockers, so we are quite literally being oppressed. There is nowhere for us to put our belongings. We're being forced outside on the side of the fucking street. I've paid for storage and the money's been stolen. Both of our link cards have been skimmed almost every month. I run. The second of the month when he gets his, I run to the suburbs and to the northwest side to bring my children one bag of snacks and food each before the link card starts getting stolen. I handled all of our Airbnb for the entire year last year. Xavier's agreement to pay me back has...
Dude, I wonder if Xavier's, happy. Damn, I'm glad she goes live and starts fucking venting, because he has to hear all the time. So now he can kind of semi-relax until whenever he... Xavier, what happened whenever we went there? What did they tell us? Did they tell us no, or did they tell us that? Did they tell us yes? Did they tell us yes? Yes, they tell us yes. Kid gracious, I feel so bad for him. His mental health is already not okay, but hearing someone yell and scream and just rant, that is not good. It's all I can think about is, what if Xavier was a kid? Which, let's be honest, some of him is, but it's did she act like this whenever she had her kids? Because I feel so bad for, even though I'm not a fan of Xavier's, but he does crack me up. I feel bad for him because I feel like he is getting how do you not get anxiety and kind of freaked out, whenever she acts like that. That's a lot to handle. That's almost emotional abuse. It would be if it was a child having to go through that. Good Lord, could you imagine every single day? You never know. That is toxic. And that's not good for him at all. Especially what he already has. What we assume, what we think he has.
Been cut short because his father has been going through whatever he's been going through and stopped making regular payments in February. I've not received a regular payment to repay me since February. He gives them $60 here, $100 there, and Xavier usually gives me half. But that link card money of buying groceries and dropping it off to my children, that has been what I've been accepting in place of cash. We also share my link card benefit for food, and I make sure that he eats and he makes sure that I eat. Everything we get, we share. So can you please stop smoking pot and flicking the fucking Bic while I'm making a video that I'd like them to play in court? Please.
That sounds so I mean, am still in the South, and it just sounds so, like, white trailer trash. Like, can you please stop flicking that? I'm trying to record this video, Billy. Will you, gosh damn, get your ass. Bitch, stop playing. You smoke out of that same motherfucking pipe. Stop. I don't know why she thinks, like, we are, like, we don't know, like, or we're, like, oblivious, or we're just all so stupid, and we believe you smoke out of the same thing. Xavier probably gets so aggravated, like, I wouldn't even offer it anymore. Like, off camera, I'd be like, nah, but I thought you said you didn't smoke. Start hiding it. Hide the pipe.
It's no, like, you're a 39-year-old man. Sometimes you show up, and you're there, and you know how to communicate, you're respectful. Other times, you're a fucking sabotage, like this. What changes from day to day? Are you using drugs? Is someone standing on your neck?
Yeah.
Okay,
what?
So Xavier's being extorted or manipulated, in other words.
Stop. And live action. What? This motherfucker said, yes. You can't even get onto him because it's not his fault. Someone's standing on his neck, Heather. Oh, that was like, I wish I could see his face. I wanted to rewind it, but now I'm like, he just kind of played her. Like, he knows what he's doing.
Are you using drugs? Is someone standing on your neck?
Yeah.
Okay, so Xavier's being extorted or manipulated, in other words. He is not being permitted to be sober and honest. Someone has, and that's the kill team I always tell you guys about, some sort of stock in sabotaging me, probably because there are so many fucking lawsuits on the table right now that people are desperate to discredit me.
I can't take it. I'm like, Xavier can pretty much just go do whatever he wants, and he's like, you know, could you imagine if your husband went to go do something? He's like, I'm sorry, babe, they were standing on my neck. Like, Xavier could just go do whatever. They were standing on my neck.
Xavier doesn't usually do disrespectful things like this. Like I said before, he's a 39-year-old man. He knows how to act. I don't doubt the fact that he is being, extorted in some way. I actually believe that. There have been several older, scary-looking gentlemen who have come around and made threats, direct or indirect. I don't think we're safe. I don't feel safe, and I haven't felt safe this entire time. Now back to this. This is what we've been provided by social work. I am 6 months pregnant. I have not been provided any sort of options for housing. I am completely able to work. I have a bachelor's degree. I have several years experience at Northwestern Hospital and many other hospitals. I've worked in the nightlife industry promoting parties. I've worked in pretty much every industry that there is, sales and marketing. I was selling renewable energy for a short period. I need to be, given options. And those options need to be more than find a place to hide in your tent. I've done nothing wrong. I don't owe anyone any explanation, and I'm tired of providing voluntarily an explanation in hopes of not being harassed that day. This is not the world that I want to exist in. This is not the world that anyone should exist in. This is illegal, this is unlawful, and this is harassment. The fact that I have paid into the tax system my entire life, and now the only assistance I can receive is harassment from people who take home a paycheck to keep me safe, it's disgusting. I cannot say enough how disgusting it is. Then they give us these single room occupancy buildings. Call for availability. So look at the fucking price. $700 a month, and you have to share a bathroom. It's 1 bedroom. Get the fuck out of here. You can get private listings of studio apartments and 1 bedroom apartments for $500, $600, $700. Not everyone is downtown. Okay? Get out of the downtown area and call around. I promise you, people are charging $700 to $900 for 1 bedroom apartments rent in the near west suburbs. Not too far from the city, 20 minutes from the city. Okay? It is a fucking ripoff what's going on here. Now you look at this. This is the last one they gave us. Family planning and pregnancy. Don't need it. I have 3 children. I know what to do with my baby. I just need a safe place to live. No. Financial stability. Catholic Charities. It's just a repeat. It doesn't exist. Inner Voice Chicago called, left a message, no answer. all of the rest of these. And look, I write down the dates, the times, 10:23, 3:48, Northwestern Hospital, currently waiting for prenatal doctor to explain notes. So then the two doctors who saw me and evaluated me and clearly could see there was no psych issue at all, they had a question as to why the doctor from Prentice ordered a psych consult. And they asked us, Xavier, did those doctors say that that woman was unjustified in ordering the psych?
See, she doesn't say, what did she say? She said, did she say? Like, she's very manipulative.
Consult, and that it seemed like she had a nefarious agenda. And did they not ask us to sit down on a stretcher and wait while they went to retrieve her so they could, quote, close the loop on why she was leaving those notes in my medical record?
Yes.
Okay, so now I have two doctors as witnesses who can confirm that there is no psych issue, that there are nefarious doctors noting in my legal medical record false statements as to my psychiatric health. I want to fucking press charges against all of these people. What are you waiting for? What more do I need to do? What more can I do? I'm about to give birth in 3 months. You can't bring a baby to a tent. I need newborn clothes. I need blankets, bottles. I need time to buy those things.
There's no time.
Christmas is in 2 months. I've never missed a Christmas or a birthday for any of my children. What am I going to do? I could barely walk around now. We can't leave our belongings anywhere. We're being denied our right to storage, even with payment. What the fuck am I supposed to do?
That is so crazy. I don't know if it's crazy or scary or both, that she's like, I just don't understand. Like, maybe this will be her rock bottom, you know? And
none of you have an answer. But you keep on allowing the unknown and restricted calls to come through on my Google Voice account.
Okay, stop. I don't even know why you went from all that to back to the Google Voices and people contacting you. But it is so crazy where she... Like, in my head, I'm thinking, okay, well, it sounds like maybe she's had enough and she'll actually freaking do something. But sadly, she probably won't. So it's like, are you serious? Like, are you playing dumb like you do a lot? Or are you being serious that you think you can't keep the baby unless people give you all of this stuff? Like, as if you deserve it. Like, as if, oh, I'm pregnant, time to get, time to go get a free house. I was like, that's not how it works. And you're just now realizing you need all this stuff for the baby.